What's up, YouTube universe? I hope y'all are doing well. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about going through hard times. I don't know if some of you may be right now. Are you going through something rough? Just things caving in on you all at once, that type of thing. What do you do, during these times when just nothing seems to go right? And I'm going to kind of just tell y'all what I'm going through right now and just kind of, in my world, the stuff that's happening. But before we get into that, I just want to say that I understand completely that there's a lot of different things people go through. And if you're going through something different, maybe not even the same type of issues right now in your life, something really hard or, way more difficult, that kind of thing. Please don't look at this as me trying to take away from that or say that, you can do these things no matter what the situation is and it's going to help. I understand there's sometimes where people go through really, really, really rough times and there's really, really hard things that are going on. And it's not easy just to get through or to manage your way through those types of situations. Sometimes time itself is the big thing that you need in those types of situations. Time has a way of healing things. So if you're going through that, my heart goes out to you if you're going through anything like a really, really, really difficult time, because we could sit here all day and talk about, well, this person's situation is worse than this person's and compare all of our situations, and but that's not what this is about. And I'm not in any way trying to say that what I'm going through is more difficult than what you're going through, or this person over here's problem is way more difficult than yours, or whatever. It's important to keep a perspective on things. I understand that, but at the same time, what I'm going to talk about today is just the kind of the things that I do when I'm going through rough patches. You're on the struggle bus and it's just rough. And what do? So hopefully this can help if you're out there and you're going through something. But if you're going through something really tough, please don't think that I'm trying to tell you that there's a real simple fix to something. That I understand that sometimes it's just time. I hope you're not going through something. I know people always are. We don't know each other's stories really deep like that all the time. I understand that. So my heart goes out to you if you're going through something really tough. But my thing right now, one of the things I think y'all all know, because the last video I made was I'm still around, that kind of thing, like just checking in. And I really thought, hey, you know what? I see a little opening here. It had been really, really busy up to that point. I think it was like a month before I was able to make a video, or a month before that where I was able to make a video. And I mean, this is important. It's something I'm really striving to achieve, success and, getting to meet the milestones that I need to meet to, get my channel monetized and all that. It's a goal. It's not just something that, I'm, just kind of, whatever about. So it's been rough because since that point of the last video, I really thought like, okay, there's a window opening up and I should be able to make, more videos. I kind of saw I'll be able to do this, and I believe said something. I'll have to go back and check my words, but I think I said something like 2 videos a week, or like maybe 1 video a week or something like that. Like that shouldn't be an issue. Here we are another month later. I believe it's been something like that. And it's frustrating because what'll happen with me and my schedule, the way things are going right now, is I'll look and I'll say, okay, look, Wednesday afternoon, this is things I'll tell myself. Wednesday afternoon, I have nothing going on that evening when I get off from work. I should be able to do a video. Something will happen either Monday, Tuesday, or even Wednesday itself that changes that to where now that block of time is not available anymore. And that's a struggle. And that's very frustrating for me, going through that. The not being able to list things the way I want to, y'all know about the death pile that I have, and I'm trying to work through that. That's another goal. All that kind of piles up on itself. And, sometimes it's a matter of just when the day comes, when the time comes that I had blocked off to do something, like to come in here, make a video, list some things, work through the death pile, whatever it is. Sometimes it's just a matter of something happened at work that day that I didn't anticipate. The day was a lot longer than I thought it would be, a lot harder. It's been really hot out there. So sometimes I get home later than I thought I would, and I'm wore out. And the only thing I want to do is just take a shower, numb my mind, just maybe watch some TV and go to bed, relax, eat something. I don't have it in me to come in here and sit and make a video and think about what I'm going to do and, do all the things it takes to get the video prepared and edited and all that. So that day gets lost. And when it comes to goals, I keep bringing it up, like, this is a goal, this is a goal. I know some people have very particular ways of keeping goals and, keeping your progress of how you're doing, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to achieve at the moment. And that's a great way to keep yourself on track. That's a great way to keep yourself focused on your goal and, making sure that you're spending the appropriate time you need to spend when you need to do it. And you're achieving the things you need to achieve to ultimately achieve your goal, the smaller steps in between. But sometimes, like what I'm talking about, goes over that, because it doesn't matter if you have a list or not. When unforeseen things happen that take you out of, take away opportunities that you had planned, even if you penciled them in somewhere, that can happen. And so the frustrating part, what I'm talking about, is not necessarily just not being able to, do something. Oh, I want to do this. I can't do this, or I didn't do this. It's about planning and then your plans falling through, and that's the most frustrating part, is when you plan and then life happens and it takes away. And some of you may be going through something like that. Life throws you curveballs all the time. When things are going wrong, one of the easiest things to do is to get depressed. And something that I hear, which is sad, pretty regularly nowadays, is about people that, did something to themselves. I think you all know what I'm talking about. And it breaks my heart when I hear stories. And it's not always just, common people. Sometimes it's like really famous people, and people, just, you think, wow, what could they have been going through that, but, athletes and nobody's immune to it. It happens in every area of life. And it's really sad to me. And it breaks my heart, because somehow or another, those people, the depression or whatever it was that was folding in on them, got so rough that that's the only way out they saw. And if you're struggling with anything like that out there, please reach out to someone, anyone, someone around you can talk to, whoever it is. A friend, family. There's organizations that, that can help a lot, but please don't ever let life itself and these things we go through that, and I understand some of them are harder than others, but don't let things like this cause you to do something to yourself. So that, I just want to put that out there, and I hope no one out there is in that area of life, or in that headspace. If you are, please reach out to someone. And there's a lot of people that you can talk to and get help. And when I say help, and don't look at that like, I know some people look at that as negative, you need help. It's not negative at all. It's just is helping you get out of a headspace that you don't need to be in. It's not a healthy headspace for you. And that's all that help is to get you to see things a different way. Because it doesn't matter what you're going through, there's never anything you can't make it through. Okay. So don't let that pop into your mind. And when it comes to goals, I know we're kind of shifting gears here. Maybe these things here are not as serious as like what we just talked about, but just even if it's small goals in your life, just things that you want to accomplish that are not very big, just like I want to do this. Okay. Or if it's something that's really big, like I want to do this. One thing I was told years ago by a friend and a mentor, it's great advice, is that one of the things that can cause us to kind of get depressed when we're, reaching for certain goals or trying to achieve certain things, when we're falling short. It seems like we're constantly falling short. And that's what plays on our mind. So if you're out there and you're trying to accomplish something right now in your life, and you just feel like no matter what I do, I'm not moving towards my goal, I'm not achieving my goal, I keep failing over and over. A lot of it is perspective and getting yourself into a headspace that's a healthy headspace for you. And it's the best place you can be in order to, achieve your goal, because a healthy mindset, it goes a long way when you're trying to achieve something. If you're stuck in a rut mentally, it's hindering you from even being able to make the, choices that you would otherwise be able to make if you were in a clear headspace. So one of the things he told me was start out every day, and in the morning, from the time you wake up, you have things you need to accomplish before you leave the house, before you go wherever it is you go, whether you have a 9-to-5 job you're going to, or whether you're your own, business, whatever it is you're doing before you leave, or maybe your business might be working from home, but before you actually get into that, you have to wake up, you have to do certain things, brush your teeth, going to, some people take showers in the morning, whatever it is you do, getting yourself ready and prepared for the day. Even if it's simple as just splashing your face, grabbing some breakfast or whatever it is. Okay. Break your day up into all those little tasks. Okay. So when you get up, the first thing you got to do is get out of bed. And I know sometimes, I have those days too. We're all human. We all have good, bad, and ugly days. Some days you don't even want to do that. That's a struggle. You roll over and you hit snooze, and it takes everything you have just to make yourself get out of bed. It's like I just want to curl up in this underneath this cover and sleep for what during the rest of the day if I can. But it's important for us to overcome those times. But you have to get up and do things. But break your day up into all the little tasks you do, and each task is a win or a loss. Okay. Because it's very easy to go, what, I want to accomplish this one thing today and I didn't accomplish it. So today's a fail. I failed today. It was a terrible day, whatever. And you get in that mindset and you get stuck in that mental rut, and it just, you didn't accomplish it that day. And, life's busy. So you're trying to find time to accomplish this goal, but it just, you're stuck in a mental, bog or swamp, or however you want to think about it, of you just can't accomplish this, and your mental state goes down, and now you're just like adding weight to your shoulder. So instead of doing that and just thinking, I didn't accomplish this one thing I want to accomplish today, so excuse me, so today's a failure. Think about it like this: everything you do from the time you wake up, whether it's brushing your teeth, going to wash your face, anything, getting dressed, each one of those is a task. And if you did it, break everything up, you can put a check mark. That's a win. Okay. And at the end of the day, and you look at all the things you actually did today, it doesn't matter if it's things you have to do. You still did things. You still accomplished tasks. And you add all the wins up, and you add all the things that you didn't do. And you get a better mental snapshot, a picture of your day, a more realistic, because you did a whole bunch of things those days. You had a whole bunch of wins that you're not giving yourself credit for. Okay. Because there's a lot of tasks that you actually achieved that day. Okay. And then now you're in a healthy headspace. You're getting yourself back to, what, I didn't accomplish, this or this or whatever, but I did accomplish all these other things. Okay. So overall, today's a win because I had way more wins than I did losses. Okay. And put yourself in a frame of mind where you're staying positive. You're not bogging down over something you didn't do when you did do a whole bunch of other things. So hopefully that'll help. Maybe somebody out there can use that. I've tried to, incorporate that. And it's a good way. And it's not that you do it and, oh yeah, then that helps, me the very next day doing that helped me accomplish that. It's not about that. It's about mental headspace and keeping yourself in a positive mental space to where you can effectively move towards the goals that you're trying to reach. But just give yourself a little credit for the wins that you did have that day. So another thing is that it's been frustrating here lately for me with the time issue, and like I said, the getting just busy and having plans and them falling apart. And on top of that, it always seems like, I know there's an old adage. It's like a saying. It says, when it rains, it pours. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but it seems like when you're in a moment or you're in a period of time where things are just going wrong, it seems like everything that can go wrong, it's like a waterfall effect, goes wrong during those times. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now, because it's like, what else? Even today, I was going to make this video yesterday evening when I got home, and had computer issues. I need a new computer. My computer's so old. I need a GoPro, really, too. But again, I'm not, getting into that kind of stuff because I can sit there and do all that all day. That's frustrating, because those are goals that I have. I need to be able to, get to the point where I can, buy those things, with the business, sell things or whatever, and move up and level up and, just keep getting the things I need. But I wasn't able to do it yesterday. So I said, okay, well, it was getting late in the evening. I had to eat something, stop, took a break. I said, maybe after I eat something. And by the time I ate dinner and got settled in, got a shower and all that, it was kind of late. And I'm like, I'm not going to go try to do that. So I'll just do it in the morning. Woke up this morning and I've been battling allergies all day today. So it's like, are you kidding me? It's just, when it rains, it pours, just one thing after another. I'm finally feeling a little bit better. Like, my voice probably still sounds kind of congested. I'm sorry if it does, but it's just like one thing after another. But so what happened yesterday was, so I mowed my yard here, and I go mow my sister's yard and my cousin's yard. They don't have a lawnmower, so I drive, and it's a good ways away. But I know how it is to not have a lawnmower, and I was able to buy a used riding lawnmower not too long ago, and so the first thing I thought of was, I talked to my mom, and she was telling me my sister needed her yard cut too, and I said, well, I can go do that for them. My cousin lives right down the road from her. They both live right there. So I was over there, and in the middle of cutting my cousin's yard, the lawnmower broke. And it started smoking and all kind of other stuff, whatever. And so I stopped and got up underneath the deck and looked and everything. And a freaking pulley. Like, I'll show you here in the picture, but if you don't know anything about riding lawnmowers, there's a pulley that runs through, or there's a belt that runs through a series of pulleys underneath. So one of the pulleys, and you'll see in the picture here, like peeled up off of the deck. And this is like metal. I've never seen this before, but apparently, after I went, to a local little shop here in town, and where they sell lawnmowers and they work on them and stuff. And the man who worked there told me it's pretty common, because I guess they're just made, they're really thin metal, and they're made, somewhat cheap, I guess is the best way to put it. So, over time, that it doesn't, I don't know how long, different ones last or whatever, but this one, like I said, I bought it used. I don't know how long the person had it before I bought it used, but when I bought it, I mean, I really needed a lawnmower, and I still do really need a lawnmower. And now, I'm back to not having one. It's overwhelming, and it's just another thing. Like I said, when it rains, it pours, and it's like I can't tell y'all right now what my plan is, because I really don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this out, and come up with the plan, and figure out a way to get back um, up and running. Get a lawnmower. And I know push mowers, the kind you push around, are a lot cheaper, and you know feasibly, easier to go and purchase something like that. My yard is a fairly big yard, and then helping my sister and my cousin, getting both of their yards. Their yards are fairly good size too, and time wise, and just, I mean, a lot of this stuff I'm doing after work. After I'm working all day, and I just don't know if that would work. For the size yards they are. So, and I know some of you might say, "Well, you just got to do what you got to do," but that's easier said than done when it's 100 degrees outside. You've been in the sun all day at work, and you want to go push mow 2 or 3 yards. Or I don't get them all at the same time, and I don't charge them nothing to do their yards. That's not what this is about. It's just me helping them out. But and whether I get them one day and another a different day, it's still, their yards are pretty good size. Like mine, it's a lot to push around a push mower. So I don't know. Like I said, I'll try to keep you updated. If if y'all want to know when I decide, or what I decide, or how I get around this and figure out what I'm going to do. But when I decided to make the video, I decided, you know what? There's probably people out there that are dealing with, their own problems or issues, and going through things, and so maybe, like, if you want to consider a little bit of solidarity, just kind of, what I do in these moments like this, how I get myself through these things, because I know a lot of people struggle with things, and if I can help out in any way, just even just helping you to see things a little bit different, giving yourself credit. Another thing I heard from a different person in my life that really stuck with me, another friend and mentor, was, if you could only see the way other people see you, because we have an image of ourselves and our lives and how it's going, and it's not always accurate. What we, how bad we think our situation is, or just even ourselves, how we look at ourselves, you know, and it's not accurate, because other people see you a lot differently than you see yourself, and it's usually, most of the time, not nearly as bad as you think it is. And if whatever the situation you're going through is, it's not. And if you think there's something about, people are looking at you like this, it's not true. A lot of people are focused on their own issues anyway. So if you struggle with that, like, people think, most people don't care. I don't mean to sound insensitive when I say that. I'm just saying that, if you think that everybody's staring at you or looking at you, because that causes people to have anxiety, or whatever, like, people are looking at you in this negative way, and everybody's thinking about whatever, and it's not true. Or just the way you see yourself in a negative light, people don't see you like that. So, and that was some good advice, because it really kind of helps you, stop and think, because if you see somebody and the way you look at them, you're like, man, they just seem like, even if they go through stuff, they seem like they have it all together, or whatever. That person is probably thinking the same, like, the negatively about themselves, and how, so you see yourself a lot different than other people see you. So just keep that in mind. And another thing is, and I know this can be applied to pretty much anything. This is something that you can, whether it's, you can apply this to a situation that's really, really hard, difficult, or even, like if you're going through something, like I know if it's a loss, or maybe a relationship, there's all kind of really, really difficult things people go through, or something simple, like, um, I should have did this or whatever. And but the problem of looking back in the past and why you should not do this. Okay, just a minute ago we talked about, when you're giving yourself credit for the things you are doing, the wins that you are, having in your life. It's important to really, do that and keep yourself positive. That's the whole point of that. Well, looking back in the past at things, whether it's, like I said, for something really difficult, like a relationship or whatever, or if it's something small, um, anything, and saying, I wish I would have done this, having regrets, saying that if I'd have did this, I would be a lot further down the road right now. I wouldn't be dealing with this. I should have made better decisions here or there or whatever. You can't do that. And you shouldn't, and it's not wise to do that, because you've all probably heard at some point somebody talking about what's valuable in life. Your money and your time, and time is way more valuable. And a lot of times people hear that, they say, well, yeah, that makes sense and whatever, but it doesn't stick with them. I know for a long time I would hear that, and it's like, yeah, that's really good advice. Time is way more valuable. But to really make it stick in your mind and really get a good grasp, I had to break it down to myself in a way that, that kind of I understand. And maybe this will help you, but the reason that's not good to do, and just to spend your time thinking about, past events, whatever, anything in the past. Now, I'm not talking about if you have a precious memory that you're thinking about. That's great. Think about the memories we have that are great. I'm talking about things that depress you, thoughts in the past that bring you down, whether it's a regret or whether it's, I wish this would have done it differently, whatever. But if you look at your bank account, like if you go and pull up your online banking, whatever, you look at the amount of money you have in your account, there's a finite amount. Okay. You have a certain amount of money. Well, that moves back and forth like, ebb and flow, like waves, like in the ocean. You spend money and it takes away, it moves in that direction, and you go and, do something and earn some money, and it goes the other way. And your whole life, that's what it does. Your money moves back and forth. Well, if you had an online account for your time, and you could see your time, what you have left, your balance, we don't have that. We don't have any way to know that, because anything can happen to us at any time, and if you can see that and know, okay, this is what I have left in my balance, it only moves in one direction. Okay. And you can take away from it, doing unwise things, living unhealthy. There's things you can do, taking unnecessary risks, just doing really foolish things. You can move it in one direction. And, even the Bible tells us, that's really foolish to, prematurely, leave this world, lose your life whenever you had more, you just kind of took it away by some of the things you were doing. So that's just foolish. So moving in that direction is foolish, but it can't go the other way. You can't add any more to the allotment that you have. So unlike your bank account, that's a number you can look at and go, okay, that can go either way. That can go this way. I can go make a bunch of money doing something, or, I can work 2 or 3 jobs for a year, and, it'll be a miserable year. But during that time, I'll stack up a whole bunch of money, like a squirrel that's, stacking up nuts for the winter, and just move that account, in this direction really far, and then take a break or whatever, and then enjoy it, and then whatever it is. Okay. But then you can spin it and do the opposite and go on a irresponsible spree, just buying a bunch of things, and then it goes the other way. Okay. This other allotment that you have, you can't add to it. So imagine if every time you had to, or you started to think about a past, thought, something like a negative thought, like I said earlier, I'm not talking about a good memory, but something like a regret or something like that. Imagine every time one of those popped into your head, if, there was some kind of entity that controlled our brains and knew every thought we had. It was holding us accountable for every single thought we were having, that would stop and like an error message would pop up and say, in order to participate, to have that thought, to engage in that memory, you need to pay $100. Would you do it? No. Most everybody would go, oh, well, I'd like to think about that, but no, I'm not paying $100. Never mind. Just let that thought pass. Don't even engage with it. So your time is way more valuable than your money. So if you wouldn't do that with your money, and you wouldn't spend money to think about something, okay, why would you spend time? Because it's the exact same thing. In order to sit there and think about whatever that is, you're having to spend time out of your allotment that you have, in your account. You have an amount of time. We all do. Okay, so if you wouldn't spend money and pay money to think about something, why would you spend time? And sometimes thinking about it can really, really take a bunch of your time up, because if you're thinking about something, you think back, oh, like whatever the situation you're in right now. Okay, I'm in this real bad situation I don't want to be in, or whatever. If you think about, well, back in this time right here, I should have did this, whatever. I wouldn't have got myself in this period of time. Okay, well, that can send you into a spiral of depression, because then you look at, you're in that mode where everything is just, bad, and it's like you're even more depressed, and it's your fault, and you could have did this better, or what if I would have did this, and then it escalates into you don't get out of that thought. You stay in that thought, in that frame of mind, then next thing you know, it took your whole day up. Where, and sometimes it only takes a few minutes of your time here and there, but sometimes it can wipe you out for a whole day, a whole week. You get into a bout of just severe depression because you stay in a mindset like that. So you wouldn't spend your money doing it in order to do that. If it cost you money to do it, you would say no. So don't spend your time, because time is way more valuable. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. So that's pretty much all I wanted to, talk to y'all about. And, you can see from the title of the video that, that's mainly what this was about. I do want to show y'all a couple other things. I know it's kind of been a while since I've been on here, and I don't know if y'all can notice and see behind me that I talked about in one of the videos before, I don't remember which one it was, how I had some plans. I wanted to redo this, wall behind me, and getting more shelving and stuff like that. So I still need to get more shelving, but I'll kind of just give you like a quick little tour of what I did with the shelving that I had. Okay, so as y'all can see, I've got some of the stuff out. This is a lot of the glassware, as you see here on this shelf, but I still have a lot of other stuff that, I have that's glassware and this type of stuff. But I don't know if y'all remember, but I told y'all that I have been going to these like trade days, kind of like community yard sales. That's the fishing stuff, kind of organized all that. There's the rods and reels and some of the baits and everything that just kind of made that area a little bit neater. And then there's more over here. So when I've been going to these trade days and like these community sales, community flea markets, this type of stuff, which this is not the stuff that I've been bringing, but this type of glassware stuff is a lot of the stuff that I've been trying to sell. Here's some of the other stuff this side is not really, like breakable stuff. It's a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, that's what it looks like now. It's a lot neater. And just disregard the stuff on the floor. That's stuff for work. I have to build some stuff for work. So that's what that is. Sorry, it's not really organized, or it's a little messy in here, but yeah, that's the wall now. So it looks a lot different. Let me know what you think. Y'all like it? I like it because I can actually see things better, I feel like. Yeah, so that's something I actually had, I mentioned it, I think, to y'all. And I don't know what video it was, but, I wanted to do that. No, I finally was able to do that. So that's a win. There's still other things I want to do. I need to do more, but hey, giving myself a win on that one. Okay, this first thing is it's like a craft, decanter craft kind of. I've seen it called both things, but it looks more like a craft to me than it does a decanter. Usually those have like a some type of lid that, like, you know, with a stopper or something like that completely closes. This just has like the thing on top that, you know, lifts up or whatever, and it says it's silver plated, but it has more of like a tarnished bronze look to it, um, than, you know, like it doesn't look really silver anymore. I'm sure that's because of the um, you know, the age of it, and, you know, just over time, the patina, the metal, and when it was brand new, you know, if you find one brand new, it probably has more of like a silver tone to it because it's silver plated. But this one, to me, it looks more like bronze. I guess it's just because over time, some of that silver plating has come off. I wasn't able to find out what year it was made. Um, I'm going to do a little bit more research on it, but if you see one of these, I mean, you can look at here what people are, you know, selling these for. I mean, they're all over the place, but I mean, there's some that, you know, they're upwards to, you know, $80, $100, you know. So I'm going to do some more research on it and find out, you know, like, well, I got to look at the sell through rate and all that kind of stuff. I actually got this piece from my cousin. She was at a thrift store, I think, and she found this. And so, yeah, so be looking, you know, if you see something like this, you know, I don't know what the brand is. All I've been able to find out about are what people are listing as Italian. If you know something about it, let me know. But I need to do some more research. But pretty cool piece. So, and it looks like it might sell for pretty good. So be on the lookout for those. And this first item that we're looking at, it brings up a shout out that I want to do. I know y'all probably have seen, you know, the past videos and know that I like to always shout someone out in my video. You know, whether I like to focus on people up and coming like myself, and you know, smaller channels that, you know, are trying to, you know, grow like I am. But sometimes I also, you know, just shout out a bigger channel that's already doing pretty good. But this item here is a perfect way to segue into that, because if you're into antique glassware or whatever it is, just any kind of vintage antique stuff like that, if you like thrift shopping, if you resell stuff, or if you just like to collect it for yourself, check out Miss Lori. And some of you may already know who this is, because if you're into antique, maybe you've already seen her videos. But she's really, really good. She's really knowledgeable. You can read all about her and what, you know, the different things she's done in her life, and, you know, her, all that, her credentials, whatever. But just watching her videos, like, she's really, really informative. You know, she's going to break down things in categories and kind of give you like a more overarching idea or view of what to look for when you're out thrifting. So I've actually seen things that she's talked about before, you know, things she's highlighted that I have. You know, I'm like, oh, I have one of those. She has a lot of knowledge, and she makes really cool videos. And you know, like I said, if you're into antiques at all, whether, you know, whatever, for yourself or to sell or whatever, just check her out. Really cool resource. You know, so give her a like and subscribe. And, you know, she doesn't know who I am, so if you tell her that, you know, Bayou Booty sent you, she might not know how to handle that, or she might not know what to say, because I've never met her or anything like that. I don't know her. I never even talked to her. But I watch her videos, and it helps a lot. So I'm just sharing it because I feel like it. If you're into the vintage or antique stuff like that, it may help you as well. All right, this next thing, I actually have 4 of these, and they are like just little kits. They're not really expensive. You can see here from the comp, I found some listed, you know, and I don't know what I'm gonna put on them, but I mean, they're like, you know, brand new. They're still in the package, but it's like a little barbecue set. You know, you get, it says on there on the box, you know, 30 pieces and all the things you get with it. You know, for this is the season for all that. You know, you have the holidays during the summertime. People go and, you know, do all kind of stuff at the lake and cook out. So, you know, there's cool little barbecue sets. And I have 4 of those, so I'm gonna, you know, list those for, you know, around this, you can see here the prices. I mean, I'm probably going to ask a whole lot for them, but pretty cool. And this next item, this is actually a bandana. I just kind of have it folded right like this, so you can kind of see. You know, if I had it spread out, it'd be too big, and you know, I wouldn't be able to fit the whole thing in the camera. But I looked up online. You can see here, I found a similar pattern. You know, the camo, and it's a gaiter, which is one of the things you wear around your neck. I could not find a bandana anywhere on Yeti's website or anywhere else online. So this is, I guess, a pretty unique item. I'm not sure when it was made or where the person got it. It was in a lot of stuff that I got. So it's, you know, it's Yeti branded, but it's just it's a camouflage bandana. You know, you can do whatever you want with a bandana. People wear bandanas all sorts of ways, but pretty cool. And I mean, you can see from what the gaiter, I mean, that's a brand new at a store. I realized that, but I mean, this may, you know, I'll probably get $20 for this. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's maybe more if it is something really unique and rare. When you have something this simple, it's generally pretty easy to find online, but I haven't been able to find any like this. So if y'all know, you know, of anything where, you know, where this was made, where it came from, or any information about it, please share, you know, type in the comments. And same thing for the rest of the items. If y'all know anything about the carafe pitcher, you know, more than I know right now, before I need to dig in and do some research, but, you know, it'd be pretty helpful if you knew something about it that would, you know, save me some time. The other little barbecue set, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's just what it is. But yeah, if y'all can help, please do. So that's the items for today. And, you know, I just grabbed a few things off the shelf. I have a lot more to go through. Y'all know that. But like I was saying earlier, I mean, just, you know, that's kind of what this video was for me. Taking a step forward towards your goal. Y'all can see right here from, I'll show you this picture. This is just where I stand right now. You know, you can see I have a long way to go to reach my goal. Me just looking at this seems like it'll be, you know, 50 years before I accomplish this. That's how it feels. But I know some people, you know, when they start their YouTube channel, you know, they make it to, you know, they meet the goals they have to meet to get to the monetization pretty quickly. But for me, it's been a struggle. Y'all know, you know, just being able to be consistent. That's my biggest thing right now that I'm struggling with. The time, trying to figure out a way to, you know, to be more consistent. But that's what this video was for me today. This video was a step in the right direction. So if you're out there and you're struggling with, you know, whatever it is, if it's something that you can, you know, like if it's a goal you're trying to achieve or something you can do, I know you can't, you know, do all of it right away, and you can't achieve your goal right away. I mean, we would all love that if we could just snap our fingers and that goal would be achieved. But, you know, staying in that positive mindset, you know, helping yourself out, helping yourself get through the rough patches, is very important. And keeping that positive mental attitude. And this is what I'm doing here in this video is just, hey, you know what? I can take one step, because life's all about steps. Big steps, small steps. It's all life is about steps, you know, we take towards things. So that's what this was for me, was just a step, you know. So find something in your day that you can do, you know, that, you know what, I'm going to do this. And it's a small step towards my goal, you know. And I realize when you take a small step, sometimes you're like, you don't think it matters. Like you can't see the results right away from it, but those all add up, and they're moving you closer to your goal. So when I say take a step, do something that moves you closer to your goal. So I hope y'all are all doing well. I hope everybody out there I hope you're going through a wonderful season. I know in the video in the beginning, especially, I talked about, you know, different people going through different things, and I know everybody's going through something, and it's not hard to look around. One thing I've always been told since I was little from my grandma and my mom, actually, was it's a perspective thing, but anytime you're struggling, you're going through something, it's important to always have in your mind, you know, to consciously think that, remind yourself that there's always someone out there who's going through something worse or has it worse than you do. So I've always kind of made that something that I focus on during rough patches, because it kind of grounds you, and makes you think, there's people going through a lot more than I'm going through, a lot worse. I mean, I'm going through finding some financial deals, but there's people who are, homeless, who don't have a roof over their head tonight. They're gonna, they don't have a place to sleep. They don't have food. I have food in there to eat. I mean, there's people who are really, really struggling. I mean, you can look at the headlines any day of the week and see that just all over the world. I mean, there's people really, really going through really tragic, tragic things. So it's all about perspective, and it's all about being able to put yourself in the right mindset, and help yourself to have a positive, strong, mental attitude to move through whatever it is you're moving through. Because if you let yourself get bogged down, if you, if you're too hard on yourself, like I said, you're not giving yourself credit for the things you are accomplishing, or whatever it is, you let yourself get bogged down, it can really take you out for a long time, and it just becomes a spiral. You go deeper and deeper, and you get more depressed because everything's just getting worse and worse. So stay positive. If you're going through something, keep going. And like I said, small steps, just take a step today, one small step that moves you towards your goal, and do the same thing tomorrow. Just keep that attitude, and whatever it is you have to deal with and figure out, and what's going on in your world, just take a deep breath. If you need a minute to just decompress, that's fine. Take all the time you need. But then, after you're done, organizing things in your mind and going, what? Okay, now I need to make a plan. Figure something out. I gotta figure this out. What I'm gonna do. So I hope this helps. If nothing else, just to help you realize that you're not alone. We all go through rough times. All things have their time. So just keep your head up high and keep moving forward. And until the next video, see ya.